clicking the buttons that say we're ready. Let's see. Have we started? I guess so. Yeah. When it says in stream, we're streaming. So, Scott, I went through what would you call a strange, obsessive kind of thing that I think all people that collect anything have in common. But I for some reason, well, I know why. I was so massively entertained by the use of language in this audiobook, Lord Jim, Joseph Conrad, that I listened to that, loved it, watched the movie on Amazon 2 nights ago, and its reviews speak for it. It's not that well done with the material, but it touches all the stuff. But this is kind of a little mini masterpiece.
The Classics Illustrated.
The Classics Illustrated. It's all in here. It's pretty amazing. But of course, the love of language can't come through because, it leaves out the Marlowe narrative POV. But as a treatment, if you were to hand this to somebody and say, make this movie, you would make a very, very accurate Lord Jim movie. And I was impressed. I was impressed by that.
The a guy that I know who taught in the Comics Experience School, Robert Atkins, he had been hired by some big director's company, had a company that all they did was make comics. They would buy ideas, they would make comics, graphic novels out of them, supposedly. And the idea was that they were really doing it as they're really developing it as like the pre-development for a film.
Sure, yeah, just for the sake of pitching.
Yeah. And he was working on one, and I'll never forget the name of it because it's called Red Dog, which always made me laugh because that's the name of an infamous strip club in Oklahoma City.
Yes, which I've been to before. Yeah,
I've never set foot in the Red Dog, but I mean, as a kid, people always made jokes about it and stuff. Yeah, And
I remember though. No, go ahead.
Well, there's a documentary about the Red Dog, by the way.
Oh, there is, isn't there?
It's on Prime. It's on Prime.
I think I started watching it. Yeah, one time. I don't know if I finished it or not. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, it's kind of interesting, but I mean, it's not, Anyway, but that was his thing was that's what he had been hired to draw. Someone was adapting or had written some comic script that they got hold of, and that was kind of a thing for a while. But I don't know that any of that stuff ever got published, which to me would just be an exercise in frustration. You're doing it and knowing, I mean, but he said he got good money, but.
Oh, well, that's interesting. That's almost like being an invisible script doctor or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody that's just there to, because nobody else can whip it out.
What's funny is taking those classes convinced me I didn't really want to work in comics because just that stories like that, just, well, what are you doing? Well, I'm working, I got the best money I've ever made is this thing that no one's ever going to see.
Yeah.
More than likely. And it's like, I was like, God, I don't want to do that. I want to do stuff that people read. You know?
Exactly.
It just didn't. It was just like, oh, that doesn't appeal to me at all.
Yeah, there's being a reader would be kind of interesting, to be one of these guys that just sees how many submissions there are and how much of, Roger Corben started as a reader, and that's kind of like very smart, nobody could ever say Roger Corben isn't a genius in terms of like having all the native intelligence anybody'd ever need.
Oh, yeah.
Show him once. He knows exactly what he needs to do something. And as a reader, he caught on to it pretty quick. This is where it all begins. This is where the water flows from, and so he just did a few scripts of his own and was off and running.
Yeah. I'm reading
from the advantage of knowing exactly what he had to do to get anybody interested in it.
Yeah, I'm reading a very interesting book called "Take the Cannoli, Leave the Gun." I made that backwards, and it's about the Godfather and the making of the God. Ostensibly, it's about the making of Godfather, but the making of the Godfather movie is so tied into the writing of the book I've read probably 100 pages and I've barely got into making the movie. They haven't, in fact, I don't think cameras have rolled yet. Even they're going through casting battles right now.
Mm-hmm.
And
that kind of stuff always fascinates me because it's just a wonder anything ever gets made.
Oh, geez,
when you read about all that stuff that had to go on beforehand, it's like, oh man, I give up 10 pages ago in terms of like my experience with it. It takes
that's the thing. Yeah, it'll make you go, huh? That's what. So one of the things a director has to do is just be persistent. I mean, it's what's funny is I don't know. I mean, I think to be a director, it takes a lot more than just some kind of artistic vision,
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. It takes, in Tarantino's case, he figured out kind of early on that he ought to be having acting lessons, and a lot of what led him to making films was little connections he made in his acting class and stuff like that, and you can see that. It's like, man, if you want to be I just now got done watching a YouTube anecdotal thing with Michael Biehn, who played Johnny Ringo in Tombstone,
Oh, yeah.
And he's talking about that movie. And you went to see Kurt Russell.
Yep.
And so you got the lowdown that he probably did, in fact, direct.
Yeah, apparently the director got sick or something.
Well, the deal is...
Or maybe he just couldn't finish it.
According to Michael Biehn, the big problem with that director, Cosmatos, is that everybody hated him. And it sounded like he just kind of like had to put the team just stepped up, and Kurt Russell, the captain, and they just basically kind of like shoved him elsewhere because he was apparently really sexist and did some nasty things. And Michael Biehn said he had 5 words for him. This is the first day he saw him. He said hello. And then the next time he saw him, after he'd seen how he treated people, he said, when he came up to talk to him, he says, "And you F yourself, so-and-so. You can F yourself." And those were apparently his only 5 words to the guy. Well, how do you get all the way through that movie if that's your only 5 words?
If that's your only 5 words, yeah.
To the director. Someone had to do it. Yeah.
No doubt. So, my life has been crazy this week.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I don't know if I told you.
The extrapolation of my wife is crazy this week.
My wife has been a little crazy too, but you'll understand why I tell you why.
Okay.
We've had dog issues. My dog has been sick.
Oh.
And so yes, my wife has been crazy. I actually took off work Friday, and took her to the vet. She ended up staying all day at the vet, which wasn't cheap, as you can imagine. Mm-mm. But it's just been she was throwing up, and I think we're finally got her on the mend, but she's not eating real good yet. So,
I think it's the kind of food she's eating, or
no, they think that she has an ulcer or some kind of ulcer type something in her intestine. So, it's something, but the medicine seems to be helping her. She's much more lively than she was, which is good. My wife always appreciates when the dog is, approaching normal in her attitudes. But it's just been a rough week.
Yeah.
I've
got a video I'm going to share later of my non-pets that are my little residents in the garage, the kittens I've got out there. I took a shot of them. I'm going to try to enhance it in iMovie because they came out real dark. But they may just be little silhouettes moving around. But, they're cute and all that. But I saw one eating at Mama's food tray today. I said, you're almost weaned. I'm going to bundle you all up and take you in while you're at maximum adoptability. It'll be the best for you. And all that. And Mama, I think, can stand it, even though I'm going to maybe have her another week of getting them really, really good and weaned and then take them in. But I would like to. So I'm going to go by for a preliminary trip by that place over there on Southeast 29th.
Yep, right by my work, dude.
Oh, it is. Well, I could.
When are you going?
Well, I don't know. I'd have to, get the logistics worked out. Imagine. I don't know when's best, for one thing. I tried to call, and their answering machine, and I imagine this is common and probably every day, it was full. You couldn't get through.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, okay, that's the government. And
and that place is packed usually with animals and people and.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, it is a problem. I'm helping with it by feeding every cat around. It's like.
Yep. Yeah, it's tough because what do you do about strays?
Yeah.
You can't not feed them. I guess you can if you're.
Oh yeah, I couldn't not. Well, no. I shouldn't have ever started feeding them. Is what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying.
Oh yes.
Say I'm not saying I'm. Some saint for feeding them.
Saint Ellis.
I'm an idiot for feeding them, is what I am.
Well, hey, we fed strays in our neighborhood, but we don't ever let them follow us home.
Oh, well, that's good. Oh, you meet them elsewhere. Okay.
Well, when we with our previous dogs, we always walked them, and we'd come across strays a lot of times.
Mm-hmm. Which, if you're, I shouldn't tell this story on myself, but, I have problems with this neighbor next door. Yeah, and it's almost like, I'm ready to go postal on them. Not really, though. I understand the limitations of just how mad and property lines and all that kind of stuff you can do with a bad neighbor.
Yep.
Yeah. But I heard a little pellet gun report, and I saw a cat jump, and then these guys made a point of two of them coming out in the yard when they knew I would be out there.
Oh yeah.
And so I gave them the lowdown. I told them that if they shot one of those effing cats, I would call the police, and I told them that. I'll get a quicker reaction for animal cruelty than I'd get for murder. And
that's probably true.
And I think they were taking it kind of deadly serious. They didn't want the federales on their ass.
No.
And it's
their
like
paperwork might not be in order.
I was really surprised at the timbre of my voice. I was just business with them. I just told them, you shoot one of these effing cats, I'll call the police.
Hey man,
I kept it low down, but I kept it business.
Yep. That's what you got to do sometimes.
Yep. Didn't get emotional or anything like that because it's kind of stupid to get emotional over a cat you don't truly own anyway. It's like maybe the best thing to do, from a kind of a rural Mexican's viewpoint, maybe the best thing to do is shoot cats. And my dad, he was a quail hunter. If he saw a wild cat, he'd shoot it. If he was out with his shotgun and saw a cat off in the bushes, because they killed baby quail.
Oh, so he didn't want to.
Yeah. He didn't want to competing for his quail.
That makes sense. Where do you? I guess quail are around here, aren't they?
Oh, you can go quail hunting around here. Yeah, but I don't know how you could never duplicate how my dad used to go quail hunting. He had relationships with, a dozen different folk that had farms, and he'd just go out and go quail hunting, tromping
through their fields.
Yeah, kicking them up.
My mom has property, and she lets somebody that we know, a friend of hers' son, hunt on it, and she does not charge him. I've told her, Mom, if you have land in Oklahoma City, I said the guys at my work pay about $1,000 or more a year to hunt on property that's several hours away.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, my mom doesn't care. She could care less about making an extra $1,000. She'd be like, what would I do with it? But I've told her, if you ever get tired of him, let me know, and I'll lease it out for you. But I want 90% of the lease. But
that's
because there are deer out on the farm.
Oh yeah.
And I could be at I could be at Mom's farm. Now she doesn't live out there. There's houses, but I could be out there in 10 or 15 minutes easily. It's like it's virtually 4 miles west of me and a mile or two north.
That's not far, yeah.
Nope, it's in city limits. That's why we're like, hey, one day.
Yeah.
So is Dan watching? Has Dan?
Oh, I haven't even looked up, but no, I don't see him. Anytime that you want me to, Scott, I can add him to the thing. I can send him the same link I send you.
No.
I
did not think.
Yeah.
No. That'd be good. Not tonight though. I'd want to warn him in advance.
Yeah, sure.
Or arrange it with him in advance. But yeah, I think he enjoyed being on the show.
I saw something on Instagram the other night of an old associate of mine, Marty Davis. Posted a photo of his wife and Mike Dietz together. And his wife is gorgeous anyway, and she didn't look like she had aged at all. But Mike Dietz definitely didn't look like he'd aged at all. Tell you what, these people that take care of themselves are something else. I can't believe Mike doesn't look any older than I remember him looking. It's pretty amazing. And comment. Yeah, go ahead.
Speaking of, I'm down 10 pounds.
Oh, excellent. Yes, that's quite feeling it, I bet.
Yeah, I feel a lot better. I'm tired because I work out. I do 30 minutes a night on the elliptical, and right before bed, and I just go to bed exhausted.
Well, that those extra calories are, you use that for energy. So yeah, I can see being tired.
Oh yeah, and I'm not eating. I don't eat from. Like I just ate supper a little bit right before I got on. I got home a little bit late, but it was probably 6:30 when I finished, and I won't eat again until noon tomorrow.
There you go. You got it figured out. You got it. Yeah, you just make that the new lifestyle, and you will go down to the weight you want to be and stay there.
Well, and like my lunch has been pretty minimal. I'm not starving myself, but I've been buying these packets of tuna and crackers, and it's not that big a deal. I mean, it's enough to It's enough to where I go, okay, I'm good till supper,
Mm-hmm.
And it was Halloween this week, and everybody brought Halloween candy to work, of course, and I didn't have a bit of it. I wasn't even interested.
No.
It didn't even sound good. It's like, God,
Nothing more
sugar.
fundamental to that weight loss than just giving up sugar for the for however
Oh
long you
yeah.
plan on working on weight loss.
Well, we'll see. I'm down to about 200 pounds. But I'd like to. I want to get. I mean, I'm not anywhere near where I want to be. Of course, I say not anywhere. If I were down to, I mean, 15 more pounds would be spectacular. I don't know if that's doable or not. That may be a pipe dream.
Oh hell, why not?
Yeah.
Sure you can.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's not that it's not doable. I guess that's probably the wrong. If it's doable, I've got a doctor's appointment coming up where he wanted me to be down, and my blood pressure has been pretty good too. But
Get down where you want to be for life. That's the deal.
Yep, that's the plan. Anyway, I'd hope to have my comic. I've got, let's see, this page 9. I've got, how many pages I got. I hope to have it done before I left on vacation, but I don't think I'm going to. So this is 10.
Mm-hmm.
I've roughed them out, but that layout, I mean, you could draw for that layout pretty easily. You almost ink it, really.
Mm-hmm.
Other than a few faces that need to be. That one's pretty loose, and then that one's even looser. But I've got 4 pages that I need to get done, and we're leaving a week from Saturday, so I don't think I'm going to get done. I'd hope to. I told Dan I was going to try to. And then we'll be gone a week. I don't think I want to take it and try and draw while I'm gone.
No, just have a good time.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Anyway, so if Dan is listening or listens later, I'm sorry, Dan. I took off. So the week I come back, my week back is the week before Thanksgiving. Ooh. And that week is always an interesting week at my work because we get off at noon on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And I've taken off that next Monday because I got a lot of hours I got to burn. So I need to burn about 100 hours between now and the end of the year, but I don't think that's going to happen. So I am.
You're too necessary. Yep.
Well, God, when I'm gone, it's just so like last week. One of the group of artists that I manage, the one that are most, I'll say, problematic. Last week there's 3 artists. They got 6 orders. Now the orders are like in 3D and it's jewelry and it can be a lot of work. Mm-hmm. 6 orders was a little low. It was a slow week. This week, so far, when I clocked out today, we had 30 new orders in this week. I was like, oh my gosh, we've gone from famine to, oh my gosh,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And every once in a while now, it's crazy. And I'm trying to figure out what are we going to do when I'm gone? Jeez. And I like my job, but man, there are times like, when the salespeople call me and are like, I need my art. It's like, this art doesn't look anything like what they wanted.
Oh, man.
Like, oh crap. What do they want? And I'm the beachhead for all this. I'm the pioneer that gets scalped, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
Taking
the arrows.
Yep. I'm the guy taking, but you know what? It's okay. I told my wife, I got home, my wife goes, how was your day? And I go, well, I think I'm in a little bit of a pickle. And she goes, again? I go, yep. She goes, okay. It's just part of it. I just live, and it's not that I'm really ever in real trouble. It's just there's always just a problem I got to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Which I guess I don't mind.
I made, did I tell you last time that I was making what I call smash burgers because of my learning on YouTube about how to make them and all that? Tonight,
No.
tonight I made one, and it was the best burger I have ever eaten. And I made
Really?
it. Yeah, yeah. All I'm doing is, mussing the hamburger up real good before I start, and forming it into a little loose ball, and then putting a piece of aluminum foil over, and then mashing it down as hard as I can with another pot. Basically, I'm making this
Oh,
big spread out patty, and then I get it
yeah.
really hot, and I put onions on top of it. Of course, you don't like onions, but these
Yeah.
caramelized onions are just great when you put them on top of it, and you put 2 slices of American cheese, kind of holding the whole loose thing together, and it is tasty. I tell you, it's something else.
Yeah, I just realized you're drawing a horse.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I tell you what. See that little line that goes through his middle there? That was going to be fog obscuring his feet because I couldn't figure out his feet. But
Looks pretty good.
I got unlazy and I tried to start saying, okay, just do some acceptable kind of posing on them and
go for it.
Yeah.
I saw a guy's online his sketchbook. It was a Facebook group about I don't know what they were drawing. Anyway, he posted a couple pages of his sketchbook, and it was just this little moleskin cashier thing, but it had all these ink drawings of aliens and creatures, and I was like, that is so cool. I should do more of that. I don't do enough creatures.
Yeah, you see somebody that's really good at something like my friend Ranjo does such great kaiju. All you'll want to do is say, I could do a Japanese monster, giant Japanese monster. It just
then you do it. You're like, what the?
it's the very source of the word inspiration. You do stuff because you see somebody else. It's like, wow, damn cool.
That's cool. What this was like.
Yeah,
they were kind of loose, and they all kind of looked blobby, a little more blobby than I'd prefer. But it was just cool because he had so many of them in there. It's like you draw 30 on a page.
Yeah,
I love seeing sketchbooks like that. Yeah. I love filling my sketchbook like that. Where it's just like a bunch of work.
Yeah.
I was looking. We're going on this trip. And so I've been trying to figure out which sketchbooks I'm going to take. This is the dilemma I always have. And, because you can't take the wrong one, Ellis, and we're going to go to a couple museums while we're there. So it's like, well, I got to take something that I could take into a museum, small, in other words. But, so I looked through some old sketchbooks and saw a bunch of old stuff I draw. It's like, oh man,
Yeah, I tell you what, going down memory lane on your old sketches, that's what Tumblr is for me. I'll find some sketch from like almost 10 years ago, and it's like, damn, look at what I was up to.
Yeah, yep, exactly. You're like, maybe this isn't so bad.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why I draw a lot, what I call on location. In other words, I'll draw whatever the environment I'm in. And that's kind of neat when you travel because it's like, okay, you can look back later and go, oh, yeah, that's when we were in New Orleans or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, oh, yeah. Yeah, it is a, what do you call it?
Scrapbook.
Time
capsule. There you go.
Exactly.
There you go.
Now draw the thing. My favorite thing to draw. No, he's not my favorite thing. He's just a thing.
Oh gosh, he's hard.
He is hard.
You got to figure out. I for a while I drew several thing samples, and I thought I had a pretty good handle on him. But man, last time I tried to draw one of my sketchbook a few weeks ago, and it's like, oh gosh, I need to pull out some Perez and look at that.
Yeah.
There's a trick to it.
Ben Grimm in karate class. That's what I'll do. Big sidekick. And he'll have Johnny holding the bag.
There you go. Bury him, Johnny. Someone on I think it was Twitter said, if you could take over any Marvel comic for 5 years, what would it be? And I said, this is what I said. And I don't know, in the cold light, I want to disagree with this, but I would do Wonder Man. Are you familiar with the character Wonder Man?
Am I? I don't know. Tell me about him. Maybe I do know him. And
he's strong. He's as strong as Thor. He's kind of invulnerable. His eyes are red because his literal cell makeup has become neutronic rays or something like that. He always wore when I read him as a Marvel? Kid. Yeah, as a Marvel character.
Okay, great.
Not a real popular one, but when I was a kid, he wore a red safari jacket and he had a rocket belt that he could fly with that he'd gotten from Tony Stark, I think. Anyway, but my thought was, what I said was I would do it as a because he's an actor. That's his civilian life. He was a failed actor, and so I said I would do him as a sometimes Broadway actor, and then and he was kind of a reluctant superhero, really. And then I would do him as a failed Broadway actor and a private eye, a la Magnum PI, because he kind of looks like Magnum PI without a mustache. That's how I always thought about him. And that would be my take on the guy.
Yeah, those those creative paths. Do some Robert Frost here. The road not taken.
Yeah.
You can always figure out something like, hey, it's there. I can do my fan version of this. Does it mean enough to me to dig in and do it?
Well, and reflecting, I decided that what I would do would be a thing. I would do a Ben Grimm comic. That would be the one I'd want, because I think he's got the, I don't know. To me, Ben Grimm is like Oscar Madison.
Yeah. Which his Kirby had done him a dozen different times in characters he'd done in the past. He's the brusque military veteran that does things the way he does them, and it's not like Kirby hadn't done him before. He just hadn't done him
orange that
way. Yeah, Orange and Rocky. He did him as a character named Rocky, but
yeah. Challenge the unknown, right?
Yeah. I think he's kind of Ben Grimmish.
Yeah. Wasn't he a pilot? He was the pilot, wasn't he?
Yeah. One of them was, I think that's Ace.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
I forget what Rocky's big specialty was. Probably was I think he's a boxer, if I remember right. Yeah, he was.
Wow.
Couldn't touch him as a boxer, So in other words, he was the big martial artist of the group. But they never showed that off that any one of them was any particularly good at better than the other at anything, basically.
Yeah, they were all basically good at everything.
Yeah, that sort of thing. Yeah, this isn't working out very well. It looks more like somebody's tipped him over, kind of like you hear about cow tipping.
Yeah, he's that's kind of a sidekick.
Yeah, kind of. I could always erase until I got there, but I don't know if I'm.
Might end up with nothing
with this one. Yeah, exactly.
Well, so I'm a big John Byrne fan. I mention him at least once in every episode, I think. But
sure,
he always taught when he came to town in the '90s. I was asking him if he kept a sketchbook, and because I'd read somewhere he said I draw all the time. He drew while he was watching TV or whatever, and he said, "Oh yeah, I keep a sketchbook." He said. But I have what I call the sketchbook that nobody gets to see. He said in there, I kind of work out all my stuff and he said eventually the good stuff makes it to the comics and the bad stuff gets buried.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. Yeah, no, yeah. Gives you that window you need on posing and what works, what doesn't. If you were
Well, I
to
think.
look at what Kirby gets up to, he does that forward punch that he does, but the deal is Kirby can turn it in his brain, a complete 360, and he can give you that exact same pose, forward punch, the opposite leg coming up for that look of that power. An animator would instantly recognize of, you even criticized me one time and told me straight, you got it right away that I'd reversed that. I had the forward leg and the forward punch
Oh yeah, yeah,
on the same side.
yep,
And if you do that, you really diminish what you could get with dynamics. And
yeah.
Kirby just kept it simple. He had that one big punch pose, but like I say, he could, a couple of little marks, and he knew right where he was for doing it from any angle. And he just repeated himself. That's what you do.
Yeah.
Especially in comics, you're going to have to.
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
This is that shot. I've only done it 900 times. Should take me 5 minutes this time.
Yeah. Well, got a little bit done today.
Excellent. What did I run across? It seemed. Yeah, Netflix. I get to watch the Fassbender movie, the David Finch movie, Killer, which apparently has got a few people, or The Killer, or something like that. But it's got people kind of excited. They're acting like, hey, this is a damn good movie.
Oh really?
Mm-hmm. So that's cool. It's always nice to have Netflix finally. It's like, hey,
Cough up something you wanted.
yeah, exactly. I'm paying money for this. I want to watch this.
We don't have Netflix, believe it or not.
No, I know you don't, and I will do that to you. I constantly tell you, hey, you ought to watch this. Oh, you don't have Netflix. That's right.
My brother is constantly going, I can't believe you don't have Netflix. And I'm like, dude, I mean, people, we were talking about at work, they were talking about the show Friends, and somebody said, hey, somebody of Friends died. And I'm like, okay. And they go, well, it's, whatever. And I go, well, I've never seen the show. And they're like, what? You never? And I'm like, how is it? It's like, I draw a comic book.
Yeah.
No,
I'm the same. I'm the same way. I didn't ever watch that show.
Very rarely in my life has there ever been a situation where I was like, I've got to go watch this show.
Yeah. Yeah, with me, it's just these special ones, like on AMC, the Justifieds, and the that one about the drug dealer lawyer. What's his?
Better Call Saul.
Better Call Saul. Yeah, and that was great. And why were we watching it? Because the writing was so damn good, man.
Yeah, that I watched.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, in terms of like, something like Friend,
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah, you watch one, you've seen them all,
Yeah, I don't really get it. I don't know. I mean, there's shows I like. I mean, if MASH was on, I'd be watching MASH.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, for the most part, it's like, I don't have time to watch TV.
Oh no, I'm watching YouTube for most of my what you could call TV viewing.
Yeah, we watch
short attention span. Yeah,
we watch a lot of YouTube stuff too. Crazy to think about.
All the opinion pieces, that you run across real quick that you can.
Oh yeah.
Sample and then say, I gather what he's saying. Switch to the next thing.
Yep. Yeah. Who's next?
Short attention spans. Yeah.
It would be tough to be a political pundit nowadays, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
At least that's my opinion.
Trying to think of the Instagram experience is. Oh, I did a couple of sketches. I did Cowboys there a couple of minutes ago, and I was I had every intention of doing an entry into the Razor Fist contest for his little.
Oh yeah, you said that last week that you were.
Yeah, and it's already come and gone, basically.
Oh really?
Yeah, they've already got the winner and all that. So it's like, well, if I do one, it'll just be for my own satisfaction. But the Ghost of the Badlands, I need to go ahead and find that Kickstarter or whatever it is, because I do want to read that. I'll see what he gets up to as a writer. I can always check out one of his books. He's also a novelist.
Yeah, I think
be pretty easy to sample him.
I think he'd be a good writer.
Oh yeah. Oh man. Yeah, he's
his rants are pretty crazy.
His rants are really creative and everything, and that is pure writing, because when you see him live with anybody, he's not that glib, but he's had to sit down and write it.
I don't know if I've ever seen him live anywhere.
Oh yeah, he gets on with shows with people talking games and other stuff.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. Excuse me. Sorry about that.
It's all right. Could have been worse.
Could have been worse. Yeah, it could have been. Projectile vomiting.
Blood could have flown all over the drawing you're doing, and we realized, Scott, you've got a problem.
Oh my God.
You've got consumption.
You gotta get that looked at.
Yeah, some big globule or something. It's the drawing board.
Oh yeah. Okay, that could be worse. I was watching it was recorded, but it had been a live feed of a guy that's playing through Red Dead Redemption, which is a Western, or Red Dead Redemption 2. And the main character gets tuberculosis at one point.
Uh-huh.
And so the guy that's playing it, normally his big thing is Fortnite. So he has a lot of younger fans.
Mm-hmm.
And so somebody asked him, is tuberculosis like cancer? Which I kind of thought was funny, but it's
pretty nasty. And we all, what with the wide open border, we all got a new chance to catch it. We had it beat, but the wide open border, there's all kinds of things that are coming that we'll be able to do a repeat on them.
Yeah, just in case you missed leprosy the first time.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Well, the main thing is, what is the disease we had beat? Smallpox. That was beat in the bag, and apparently they've had things where it's reared its head again. Yeah.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
Why would we have any standards? When my great-grandparents came through at Ellis Island, they got checked out for that stuff.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They used to take care and slow you down, put a lot of friction on who came in, who didn't.
Yeah.
Not so today.
Nope.
I laugh, and it's the most annoying thing I can ever think of, is thinking about what's going on down there.
Yeah, there's a lot to be annoyed by if you're so inclined.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my. You can make yourself super angry. I'm really curious, because to me it's just obvious that Joe Biden can't be the candidate, and you're a year out, and it's obviously that Newsom was in China to be given the seal of approval by Xi. It's like, when do they structure the switch? What will it involve? How tricky will it be? Because the longer they can keep a Newsom away from any sort of examination, the better. That's always good
Sure.
for someone that's been in,
Oh,
now
absolutely.
Biden certainly benefited from it, running from his back porch in his yard, never even stepping out onto the trail.
Yep.
81 million votes. You can't argue with success. Um, which I don't feel like I would hope. Oh, never mind. I'm not even going to say that. Not
Don't
on
say it.
YouTube anyway. Yeah.
Don't say it. You'll get
Yeah.
us kicked off.
Yeah. But in fact, I will just leave my train of thought at that. But yeah, they're going to have to get something done. They got to move on that.
Yeah.
Because you are cheating him past a certain point. The world has got to look at it as a race that's coming up, and this is our guy and all that.
Yeah, you're right. At a certain point, it's going to be like, no, we're for the other guy.
And if they don't give it a full year, it's like, hey, get with it.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not optimistic. I think we.
I'm not
live in an
optimistic
era of-
either. I think they got their systems perfected, and they'll never have another person they don't want in that job again. When I say
Yes.
they, I mean they. Just to keep it away from being canceled again.
Yes.
I do mean they.
They. We don't know who they is.
They
could be anything. Could be aliens. Aliens are manipulating the election. Space aliens, let's clarify.
Yep. Oh yeah, our ever popular space aliens that emerge when things get hot. Yep.
Yep. No good space aliens.
What was I think? Things like comets threatening extinction for the whole planet. That's always good to cycle into the news.
Yes.
Gives you something else to worry about.
Yes. Try not to worry about much. So I try not to worry about much.
Yeah, did you ever see that footage of that undersea volcano that erupted that they had a good look at with a satellite, but it was miles away from anybody capturing it live or anything like that, so it was no big thing there. But it's pretty cool. I mean, the one moment you're looking at just the ocean, and the next moment it's like this big cauliflower smoke and everything.
Oh yeah, that's a funny description. Cauliflower smoke.
Yeah.
Well, Ellis, I think I made good progress tonight.
Excellent. Yeah, I like it. That's working smart. That big forward silhouette. Yeah, that's the way you do it.
I cheated on this. Not cheated. So the script called for the people to meet. I think I mentioned this in a warehouse. I didn't want to draw a warehouse. They're going to meet in a parking garage.
There you go. Oh yeah.
A parking garage just seemed more interesting. We'll call it abandoned if we want to, or empty. Empty might be a better way to put it. Anyway, I'd hope to have this done days ago and then be off to the races on the last 3 pages, but I'm not. And, sorry, Dan. Even though Dan's not here, right?
No, not that I can see. So, yeah.
So this was the last.
Whatever.
This is the page I did.
Oh, let's look at it. You want to solo it?
Nah.
Okay. We'll center it then anyway. There you go. Oh yeah. No, that looks like a nice sequence. There was something I was seeing about storytelling and everything that I was going to share, and maybe it'll come to me. Oh, that's what I watch on YouTube all the time. I'm always watching people talking about their comic work and how they use Procreate and all those kind of things, those issues.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, not a fan.
Yeah. Well,
well, I just like working traditionally, even if my paper keeps falling down.
Well, right now you don't have an iPad that would take an iPencil, would it? That would work as a stylus for your particular iPad? I don't think
if
so.
If I wanted one, I'd have one.
Yeah, sure. You could buy you a nice big Pro.
But I don't want one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
which I don't think I'd understand.
Yeah, I mean, I sit in front of a computer all day.
Mm-hmm.
I like drawing. I like the feel of pencil on paper. All that.
Well, that's the whole thing. They immediately go after the feel of traditional media by adding some sort of little sheet, that goes over the top of your iPad. Yeah.
Yep, putting a little thing on it.
Mm-hmm.
So you said you had a good day today?
It was good enough. We had the perfect weather, which is always nice.
Yep. And rare.
And rare enough that I was hearing about the 200-mile-an-hour winds and the thing that blew away Mexico down there. And it's like,
oh, yeah.
I remember our 80-mile-an-hour winds here that did the number on my shingles that are still all ragged out. And hey, what would have to happen, Scott? Now, are you part of what you're paying for on your insurance? Does that get you entitled to some sort of big discount every time you want new shingles, or what? I mean, how does that work?
They have to be damaged. I haven't done mine in a while, and it doesn't pay. A roof, depending on your insurance company, a roof is completely different. They cover it differently, and I think they only pay like 80% or something like that. So your part will end up being quite a bit.
Oh yeah. My there's no way I can skip the what do you call that when you've got your part to pay? What do they call that?
Deductible.
Yeah, the deductible.
Used to, you could do that. You'd get a roofer, and he'd be like, "Hey, I'll charge you $7,000 and you pay me $5,000 and we'll actually call it good."
Mm-hmm.
And your insurance will pay for all of it. But insurance companies are all onto that now.
Oh, sure.
So you're not getting away with that. Not that you were asking about that, but just in case you were considering insurance fraud.
No. Yeah. Oh, it's always one of the things on my mind. Yeah. Slip and falls. Yeah. I've done a few of those. Yeah, they're good. Because of my Aikido background, I know I can do a real good fall.
You could do a good slip and fall.
Mm-hmm.
You could do a slip and fall and make it look like somebody else threw you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and of course, the primal groan that comes out of me at that point. Yep.
You're at the right age, though. People think when you fall, people think immediately you're going to die.
I'm going to die. You know what? Now that I'm thinking about that, I'm just kidding.
I'm going. I knew.
Light went on over my head.
I don't know how it ended up, but I knew a lady that was at a Braum's grocery store, and they had mopped.
Oh, that can do it to you.
And she slipped and fell and cracked her skull. I mean, cracked her. I'm not using a euphemism. I mean, her skull broke, and she required surgery. I mean, they thought she might die.
Yeah.
And it just so happened her and her husband were both lawyers.
Oh,
and I don't know how that turned out.
I bet they got something. If it was a big enough chain. I came across one of those floors like that one time, and I don't know how I would have proved it, but I doubled the length of my groin muscles
Oh gosh.
by 2. All of a sudden,
Well,
real quick, it hurt.
we'd prove it. You'd prove it by showing them.
I guess.
The
It almost put me down. It probably would have been better if I went down. That yank and pull was
oh yeah, you should have rolled with it.
Pretty hurt.
Should have rolled with it, Mr. Aikido.
Mm-hmm.
Aikido?
Aikido. I took some Aikido. I started right after I saw a Steven Seagal movie, the first one, and we had a world famous store for it in San Diego when I lived there.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, learning how to roll and walk on your knees is our unique Aikido skills, and of course, all the very fun lockups you do and stuff like that. You can, it's one of those things you can really lose yourself in as a discipline.
Yeah, I think most of the martial arts are kind of like that. Some of them more so than others, certainly. Mm-hmm. But if you're so inclined.
Speaking of martial artists, so I saw Elon Musk on the Rogan show, just a clip of it, and he's talking about, it obviously come back to his fight with Zucker. And,
oh yeah.
And he was telling Rogan that he was telling this girl that he uses the walrus in terms of like, she can be good at whatever she's good at, but I want to show you how weight classes make a difference. And he apparently, I don't know if he got around to it, got on her in side mount, basically chest to chest, forming a T, and and just smothered her with his bulk and all that. But he's telling it to Joe Rogan, and I imagine running through Rogan's head, and I doubt if he did this. He said, "I've got a girl I want you to try that too with," because he would know some killer female martial artists that he could, in a kind way, introduce Elon to the fact that Zucker might kick his butt if he gets in there with a certain amount of training.
Yeah, that could be. Well, has Elon had any training of any sort?
I think he disdains the idea of any training. He says, "I'm bigger than him. I can whip him any day of the week, and that's that." So he's using that high IQ to tell him that that's that, but it might not happen.
Telling somebody ain't the same as beating them.
Yeah, I know, and hopefully, for the sake of sanity in the world, those two never get together and fight.
Yeah, I don't think that'd be a good.
It wouldn't be a good thing. Think of the children.
Yes, the children. The children.
I was thinking of the children last night. I was just sure I'd seen Despicable Me, and I may have with my brain the way it works anymore, but it just felt like it was all new, the very first one. And oh my God, I was loving every second of that thing. It's such a great little film, storytelling, characters. Heart gets to you at the heart level. Such a great way. Well, Scott, I think you'll probably think this is good news. We're at the 58-minute mark.
Are we?
About to be 59 minutes. And you're going downtown tomorrow? And
yeah, you're welcome to join me if you'd like.
Yeah, you know what? I think I'll stick around right now. My big thing, and I'm terribly excited about it. By the end of this month, the cats. By the end of this month, I may have the Locust Bride completely in the bag. It'll mean I've gone through, and it may, be about 140 plus pages of the rewriting chore over. I don't know what I'll replace it with, but I'll replace it with something. And I'm digging it. I'm digging the idea that the finish line is in sight.
That is pretty cool.
5.5 months of 30 minutes a day. Yeah.
There you go. Then what are you going to get your X on?
Yeah. I'll find it. May teach myself something.
There you go. Aikido. No.
Yeah. Go back to that. Listen to myself creak and crack. Well, Scott, I'm going to end it. How about it?
Okay. Sounds good. Thanks, everybody.